What's happening, ladies and gentlemen of League Zero, and welcome to week 7. Damn, already week 7. The sixth, the sixth game for these teams because they had a bye week. First game of the second half of the season. So we got two bottom place teams here. Should be an interesting stream. A lot of people wanted to see this game. I believe this was the most requested game to be streamed for today, just because DKE has been building up that hype. They did well against CDC last week and are getting closer to that first win. And if anyone's going to give it to them, it's probably going to be Bot Burgers, just because they're one of the lower rated teams as well. And DK has consistently looked better. But anyways, gonna do the coin flip. Also, we have Jepic here who will do the color casting.
This is in fact true.
Okay, I'm gonna do coin flips.
I think there's a lot to look forward to in this match because a lot of people think that DKE could finally get their first win. They're winless currently, but Bot Burgers has been looking a little bit weaker recently. So it'd be interesting to see how these two teams stack up against each other. I'm really excited for this match personally. I like a lot of players on both teams.
All right, so we have DKE taking the coin flip, meaning they get to choose between Ilias and Nepal. I believe for the most part, we've seen Ilias, I believe.
Yeah, so that doesn't surprise me too much. Ilias is generally considered it's just a more popular map in general.
Especially with the Lucio meta currently. Bot Burgers are sad that they lost the coin flip.
And also with May banned, a lot of the Nepal maps kind of favor May, especially a village. So I think it would just be preferable to go Ilios regardless with May ban. Same with the only other thing is that we won't be seeing Orisa on Ilios well, which would be interesting for sure. Usually you see a lot of pull setups to get people either in the well or group into the well. It's a very common strategy. So it'll be interesting to see how these bans affect the games and what heroes everyone plays, etc.
Yep, and it looks like we're just waiting on the teams to confirm. Yeah, we're just waiting on the teams to confirm if they're ready or not. Pretty standard lineups that we've seen, especially from Bot Burgers at this point. Sloth and Phone, DPS. Note, Silver Arrow is on main tank tonight instead of All Mike. I believe he's not available. He might be on vacation or something. Anyways, we do have DKE ready. A DK effect. They are not running a few of their stars from last week. Elf in particular is notably missing. She was a rather standout flex DPS, but Wiz is well known as probably one of the best hit scan in intermediate right now, and I don't think Rinto has played at all this season, but actually they're a season 0 teammate of Jepic. Anyways, the teams are ready, so we're gonna hop into it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about DK's new pickups, so I think that'll definitely favor them in this match against Bot Burgers. I don't think Bot Burgers has made too many changes to their roster. I could be wrong about that.
No, they've pretty much stayed the same. They've made a few different swaps here and there.
Mm-hmm. Although Silver Arrow is not their starter main tank, if I'm correct.
Yep, usually it's All Mike who was starting main tank last season for Papega Parrots and Novice. So
right.
I don't know how much scrim time or play time he's gotten. I believe they've known for like a week that he'd be in instead of All Mike, so they should have some time to have prepped for that. You have granted this isn't the spawn, but we do have Sloth here on the Widowmaker. He's usually known for his flex DPS, and actually so is Phone to some degree. So, but this setup has worked in the past for Bot Burgers, especially week 1 when they faced off against DKE. But then again, DK was considerably weaker.
Mm-hmm. It looks like the only difference between the two teams' comps is that Bot Burgers is going to be running a Doomfist while we see DK with a Genji. So DK is probably going to be looking for Nano Blade setups, but if we look at Bot Burgers, they probably have more raw power.
Right off the bat, Wiz is getting quite a few headshots onto Bot Burgers tanks, whereas Silver Arrow's taking a lot of damage. Rinto does get Anti-Kit gets booped off by Phone's punch. Doesn't find a wall, but it will find the kill regardless. Null is getting incredibly low. And Slop is taken out by Wiz. Note does take out Haishan, but it looks like Touch and Wiz are going to be cleaning up this point for the most part. However, Botburgers is recontesting the point. Wiz getting rather low.
Yeah, neither team has their Ana right now, so they're playing with rather low heals. The only difference, well, both teams have their Lucios, so they need to really be playing group together. The Ana for DKE is gonna be coming back faster, so they should be able to pull this through. It's just a Widow alive. The Widow actually picks off the Ana again, though.
Yeah, and Phone does try to take out. Well, he does manage to take out Wiz as well, but he will get taken out in the meantime. And DKE does get their first percentage on the board.
And they're also going to use their sights. So now Wiz should be able to win the Widow duel here, which will be huge because that's a lot of pressure on the point, just completely gone. It looks like Soft is trying to just play this super safe.
Is playing with death right now. He very narrowly misses getting domed. Rinto putting a lot of pressure onto Phone is getting somewhat close to his Meteor Strike, but not quite there yet. Rinto is also getting close to that Dragon Blade. Now has it. Kit not quite to that Nano, has been getting punished a lot by Sloth. Haishan getting taken out, but Phone as well. So that's a lot of space making gone for DKE, but a lot of insta damage for Botburgers done. Wiz actually gets taken out by Silver Arrow. Null getting collapsed on. Anti low, he will get demeched. Will throw out the bomb just to get the remech, however, that is rather valuable as long as he can survive. And he actually will, but he immediately gets demeched again. Botburger seems to be pushing in. Quite a lot of ultimates coming out.
DK using the Dragon Blade here. Gonna force out a beat as well.
However, Rinto's not really finding much value with it. The only target there is Note. Sloth putting a lot of pressure onto Rinto to not be able to poke out in the middle. Phone in the backline takes out Wiz. And DKE is just running back to point stalling because they never have lost the point as of yet. This is still going up in their favor. Finally, at about 78%, 77% to be exact.
Yeah, both teams there committed a lot of ultimates. The only one left for DKE is their beat. They hard committed both their Primal and their Nano Blade, but only really managed to get one kill through all of that.
No gets demeched in the backline. He was getting a little bit too aggressive. Early Nano comes out onto Silver Arrow, and he will put in a lot of damage. However, the kills are actually going in favor of DKE. That's a terrible engagement for Botburgers. They're losing a lot here with their off tank. That's half of their survivability gone, and it looks like Phone and Sloth are both about to get taken out unless they can retreat, which Sloth actually does. Phone managed to get healed up by his own shields. Wiz gets taken out by Spartan. And this is a rather chaotic fight, but it's still awkwardly inching towards DKE's favor. They still have, I believe, one-man advantage. Oh, but Sloth taking out Touch, that's massive. That might just stay in the favor of Botburgers now, and sure enough, both supports down.
That fight right there dragged on for way too long. They had a really hard time engaging, and once they did, both supports just got picked off, and they had no way of capping that point.
Yeah, Rinto didn't really have a hope there. Wiz taking a few pot shots, but not really going to find too much.
Yeah, both Widows have been getting a lot of picks, especially onto the supports like the Ana, but I think Sloth has the edge right now. But Wiz uses his sights, so hopefully he'll be able to get a pick here at least.
We do have another Nano Blade building up slowly, Wiz. They can't hard scope, I guess. So I'm not sure if that Nano Blade will come up soon enough or if they'll get enough value out of it. Last time they certainly did it. Actually, Wiz swaps over to the Tracer now. Interesting. I guess he decided he wasn't getting enough value. Sloth does pop the walls. Is going to be a massive advantage. And Botburgers actually does have the percent advantage as well, with Touch getting down. That's not looking very good for DKE. A lot of ultimates coming out, including both
This is last fight.
Oh, Kit getting taken out. He had Nano. Rinto still has the Dragon Blade. He can try and pull off a Vanilla Blade, but who knows if he'll be able to find the value he needs for that. Touch finally gets to use that beat. Haishan gets slept onto point. Already incredibly low, the beat wearing off by the time he wakes up. And looks like DK is slowly falling. They are stalling out the point for now. Do finally have the Nano Blade coming in. However, Rinto's not on point. Somebody needs to touch. Oh, Touch, ironically enough, does actually touch, but he will get taken out almost immediately. Rinto takes out 2 with the Dragon Blade, but will it be enough? You still have both tanks and 1 support from the side of Botburgers on the point. Null swaps over to the ball, and it looks like it's just stall mode here for DKE as they will lose the first point 100 to 77.
Yeah, again, DKE had a really hard time pushing up, and they finally got to use their Nano Blade, but it's way too late into the fight. They're already down 2 or 3. So as much as they got 2 picks, Blockburger still had the man advantage, so they just weren't really able to get a solid engage, and I think that's really important on the Ilios Ruins. So
now this is going to be an interesting map, like you said, because of the Orisa ban from last week in comp. That's what they're running with here. Rinto is preemptively on the soldier. Of course, they are still in spawn. They can swap it up if they want. Phone doing a lot of work on that Doomfist, surprisingly. It's a rather difficult hero to get a lot of value out of, especially on control like this, but I guess it's working out for him, so why swap? Sloth actually onto the Tracer now as well. Widowmaker not having the sight lines, and Hanzo being banned. Not really giving the players who want to play snipers very many options.
Yeah, as expected, they're going to come out on dive, so it really just depends on how well they can both support their Anas and aggress.
Do you have quite a bit of a brawl coming in here on DKE's side? Kit does get taken out, but also does Phone. That's about equal value. However, Null does get slept behind the point, and Painless is getting chased down by Haishan, but it looks like he will survive. Rinto getting taken out by Sloth in the backline, and now Touch is getting pressured down by Sloth, but it looks like he will now go on to Haishan, and it looks like DKE once again is winning this first fight. Botburgers doesn't seem to quite have the composure to take those first engagements, but over time, as they build ultimates, we'll have to see if they can take the advantage.
Yeah, DKE lost their Ana super early, but at the same time, they had a really successful dive there, so they were able to take out the Wiz on Tracer, was able to take out 2, including the Monkey. So because their Monkey was down, they couldn't really make a lot of space there, so it was just clean up.
Wiz loses the Tracer 1v1 as he's going for... as he Sloth saw that and took advantage. Nice stick onto Null, but it won't completely take down his mech. Both tanks on the side of DKE are rather low, and it looks like Botburgers will probably be capturing this point. However, a bomb does come in from Null. Will get Botburgers off the point for the time being, and they will remain in control for at least a little bit longer. However, they are at a massive disadvantage for the time being. However, taking out Spartan is a nice start. Unfortunately, Haishan gets taken out while he had ult as well. Wiz still stalling out on point. Touch as well, looking for some boops. Unfortunately, there are not quite that many heroes that you can boop and dive. Phone has to use his Meteor Strike to get out. Looks like he will actually use it rather aggressively. Note gets demeched and booped. Sloth takes out Wiz again in the Tracer 1v1. He's been winning a lot of those.
Kid is dead again.
Phone. Kid cannot find a break here. Haishan is nanoed for the time being. Not really seeing the need to use his Primal Rage, as it looks like we're seeing a repeat of the first part of the previous round, where DKE just takes a demanding percentage in the beginning. Rinto actually gets the better of Sloth here, doing rather good there on the soldier. Does already have the attack visor. Kit on the Moira now, I guess, needs that extra mobility and survivability for a Silver Arrow, as Botburger's tanks have been bullying him to no end. Nice stick onto Spartan there. Wiz opening up a huge advantage for his team. Quite a lot of ultimates coming out now at this point, both beats as well as one pulse bomb. I don't believe Sloth found anything. Attack visor coming in from Rinto. It looks like it's going to get by Note here, as he will have to back out, and sure enough, he does die.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they went for the tactical visor there, because they were already down 2. They should have already lost this fight, but they're going to continue trying to stall it and maybe even commit more ultimates.
Much less to stall, as they're already up to 99%. And it looks like DK is slowly trickling less in. However, as I say, that Silver Arrow, one opening, but it depends on... Oh, Touch gets a beautiful boop. This might actually be winnable right here and now for DK. If not, they do have plenty of time. Kit getting pressured down by Phone, however, Reaper being one of his other heroes he's known for at this point, and it looks like DK should just back out as more of them fall. This stagger is probably not going.
Yeah, at this point they really just need to reset. It's definitely lost. So I think what happened there was Silver and No both set up a bunch of really good dives. The fight before then, they had set up a really good dive, took down 2, but they just staggered over and over, and they couldn't find another pick beyond that. So I think they finally actually worked together as a team, as a full 6, and they were able to take the point there.
Phone does have his Death Blossom now, and he was up on the high ground, so it would have been a good positioning. However, he gets right back up high ground, so we'll be watching him carefully to see. Wiz finally beating out Sloth, and possibly at the crucial moment here, as taking the 5v6 like this. Spartan using his Coalescence Phone trying to get his Death Blossom some value, but he will not find anything, eaten mostly by Note. Spartan does find Wiz, however, with his Coalescence. Kit finally uses his Coalescence. Note does toss in the bomb, will not find anything, and it looks like DKE will be slowly trying to recapture the point here, as they are 1 man up, 2 men? Oh, now 1 man again. You have the beat coming out from Bot Burgers, however, it's a little bit awkward as most of them are rather low. DKE's tank's getting rather low, however. Touch does drop the beat, will save it. Null does get demech, decides not to use the bomb, although he had it. Aishan getting taken out once again. Rinto back onto the Genji, didn't even notice that one. And DKE, well, really, neither team has any ultimates, but Bot Burgers are a lot closer. Wiz, this is a brawl going on everywhere at once. But we do have Wiz whirling around in the lighthouse itself, or I guess the tower. It's not so much a lighthouse as a windmill. Just a lot of brawling here, not too much ground being given. Bot Burgers are now getting close to 1-fight territory. This is going to be getting into desperation mode here for DKE. As Haishang gets taken out by Note and Phone. However, Spartan does get taken out by Null. Null still has the bomb. Rinto has the Dragon Blade, and Kid is about to have Coalescence. It's not a terrible combo, not as good as... Oh, Touch gets stuck by Slop. That's a huge take for Bot Burgers. Already back up to 99%, and the kill feed is starting to go in favor of Bot Burgers. This is tragic if you ever saw it, as a lot of people were hoping and expecting DKE to come into this as the clear favorites. They did not really show it this time around. They take the first fight of the round, really, and drag it out for a little while, but it looks like Bot Burgers will be taking Ilios 2-0. I'm very curious to see who got play of the game. There was a lot of good plays. Touch, okay.
I think at the end there, DKE had so many fights where they just committed way too hard, committed most of their ultimates, and just couldn't get a solid dive together, and they just looked really messy. And the one time they finally had a good engage, just someone in their backline got picked off, or they'd lose a 1v1 that they shouldn't have been taking. And I think that both teams looked really scrappy, but Bot Burgers were able to play together just a little bit better. So I didn't really see DKE playing together as a team for most of Ilios well. And when they're playing a hard dive comp, it's really important that they actually coordinate. But I saw, like, especially the DPS would take their own off angles and try and make hero plays on their own, but they could never really manage to do that. I think if they had a solid dive, especially with their tanks, they could have easily taken down a support in the backline, especially without the Ana. So, or without an Ana in play and rather playing the Moira, the dive is a little bit easier. They don't have to worry about peeling for their Ana for the most part, just sacrificing a little bit less heals. So I think it's, I just think that if they control their tempo a little bit better, use their ultimates a lot better, then maybe they could have figured something out and stole the point there. It was still close. You have to give credit to DKE. They made both rounds really close, especially well there. But once they lost control of the point, they just had no way of taking it back. They never had a good engage.
All right, we did have a preemptive swap there from Null to Pichu, but it looks like because Volskaya is the map pick, Null is going to come back in, possibly some Zarya play. Null is known for his Zarya, and Pichu is not. She's mostly known for Diva and Orisa, although she doesn't like playing Orisa, so
Yeah, we haven't seen Volskaya in a long time, but Zarya has always been a pretty solid pick here on first point. Not as much on second point, but you can still definitely see it work there. Although I feel like in this meta, it's still probably better to run the Diva. So it'll be interesting to see if they do run Null on Zarya, because it's obviously his preferred pick, or if they're just going to run with the standard meta.
Yeah. Looks like, well, DKE is ready. Bot Burgers, they do have, actually, do they? Yeah, I believe they have one sub in the lobby, so they could sub in commercial, I believe. Z-Power, or no, wait, yes. Splooge is also a player on Jemima, is just the manager. Z-Power is just a coach, as he is advanced SR level, unfortunately. Haven't really gotten to see him play at all.
All right, we're just waiting for Bot Burgers to be ready here. So Again, on Volskaya, you'll definitely be seeing Ryan both points. I'd be pretty surprised to see anyone play Winston, except for maybe first point. You can set up a dive, but I have the feeling after last round that neither team is really that comfortable playing the Winston dive. So I would expect Ryan Diva, maybe Ryan Zarya on the side of DKE. But this map really just does favor standard. Of course, again, with no main play, I would still expect a Kree, but I think Volskaya lends itself to Widowmaker. You can definitely see Widow do really well here. There's a lot of open area and many off angles he can take. So we'll see. I know Wiz is comfortable with both Kree and Widow, so that could favor them, but Sloth also was doing really well on Widowmaker, especially on Ruins. So I think this will be interesting. Definitely be close. I think what determines who wins here is who runs the better comp and who plays it better.
Yep. Oh, that was an auto pause, so someone had to have DC'd. Okay, well, neither team.
Give it a second. I think just unpause it. We'll see what happens from there.
So make sure that the teams are ready.
Yeah.
I don't like unpausing it unless I get confirmation that the teams are ready. It's like, oh, we have extra time, and all of a sudden we don't. Okay.
Yeah, well, I've personally never seen that bug before. That's a new one.
The lobbies were weird yesterday, so I wouldn't be shocked if people's internets are screwing with Blizzard servers. Yesterday we had trouble starting the maps because Blizzard decided, hey, you can't enter the map all of a sudden.
Well, I'd like to share that I set up a scrim lobby and it put us on West Coast despite me being East. I think Blizzard's just having a tough time with their servers as of this weekend.
Generally, what they try to do is set it up so that, like, for example, I'm on East Coast and I own this lobby, but it's probably based, actually, I don't know, it might be on East Coast because we have a lot of players from East Coast this season, but it should be based out of wherever the majority of the players get the best connection, so it might be, might actually be Central, because I'm getting about 70 ping. I think I usually get about 70 ping Central, so.
Okay, so if we look at both comps, DKE is actually going to be running Reaper, though.
But they do have the Zaryas. We're expecting Reaper McCree. I've seen it work in Novice, but that is also Novice. So I'll have to see how they can get some value out of it here, especially with the Doomfist coming out from Phone yet again. Didn't really have an answer to it on the Ilios. DKE does push through the choke rather fast. That is something that a lot of teams get hung up on rather early, however. Phone already in the backline, punishing Kit, and he will fall almost immediately. However, both Annas fall almost immediately. Unfortunately, Rinto also gets taken out by the Doomfist in the backline. A Silver Arrow falling does create another opening. However, Phone is on a tear right now, 3k. But Touch and Wiz are doing a lot of damage here. However, Wiz gets... no one expects the dive Doomfist, apparently, and Touch is really the only one left. Phone got like 4 kills right there. That was insane.
Yeah, Phone played that really well. I did see Wiz, his whole team pushed left, but he took an off angle right and managed to pick off the Ana really fast. They're definitely going to try and do that again. But Phone just tore up the entirety of DKE. It didn't even matter.
Sure enough, Phone is up on the high ground as well. He's waiting for DKE, and they actually did position themselves to where they are vulnerable, and Touch gets taken out immediately with a huge answer. And Phone a 3k for now. He might get some more. No final blows, but he did participate in quite a few of those. And there's the 4th. He's gotten 4 kills on 2 team fights so far.
Yeah. DK just has no answer for the Doomfist. When you're running Zarya, normally with Zarya Ryan, you want to use your bubbles on your Ryan to play very aggressive. But with this Doomfist doing so much, you probably have to just bubble the dive target. But at that point, I would just say swap to Diva, because Diva can definitely peel for a Doomfist way more easily than a Zarya can. So I think DK just needs to swap with the
getting caught out from the rest of his team here on the rotation, but he hasn't. For Wiz getting about halfway down, Phone is waiting for the dive to peek, or the brawl to peek through. Haisham gets antied. and brought down to about half health. Nano Doomfist, that is about DK's worst nightmare right now as he takes out Kit yet again, and there goes Rinto. And, well, you never want to be in an enclosed room with Doomfist, and that's exactly what happened. Painless does get booped off, but it doesn't look like much else will happen here as DK just has to retreat. I want to point something out. Phone was almost a novice player before we had to bump him up to intermediate, so just think about that for a minute.
Oh, I mean, he's doing so much for Bomb Burgers right now. He's getting so many kills. The Nano Doomfist just absolutely tore them up, especially when they go into the small room. I like the rotation, though. Taking high ground is smart. It gives them a lot of space for their McCree. But I think if you're trying to take over high ground, Reaper might not be the best option there.
Honestly, considering how much Phone has been giving them trouble, possibly a Sombra switch.
I can definitely see that.
Hynun coming in from Sloth will not find anything. I believe he got Kit rather low. Wiz taking up Painless with the Hynun. It looks like some kills are finally coming in. Kit not having a good game despite being a star player last week, but Null getting a 3k of his own. Bomb coming in from Note. Will take out Touch. I'm not sure how that happened. I guess he was trying to go for the mini, but didn't quite make it.
Yeah, they're playing super spread on the point, so the bomb just caught Touch out because he was on the opposite side of his Reinhardt of the bomb, so he had nowhere to run really.
But with about 3.5 minutes left, DK has a chance to take second.
Null does have the Graviton during this fight, so hopefully he'll be able to get a lot of value. I was going to say they can combo it with the Reaper, but there's not going to be a Reaper out if they are in spawn. That's just not going to happen. So both teams will have a Nano. I wouldn't be surprised if Spartan just uses his Nano on the Doomfist again. Worked really well last time.
No one actually swaps off of the Diva onto this Arya. Interesting pick there, because now they have Graviton, unless Null just whiffs it entirely and misses everyone. Phone up on the high ground, just waiting for an opportunity to pick someone off from behind again, and Kit is looking like a rather tasty target, but as I say that, Wiz gets taken out first. Wiz does take out Sloth in the meantime. Phone is taken out finally by the Reaper. Do have both Reinhardt's nanoed. Silver Arrow being focused, but also bubbled. Does bring Haishan rather low. He is being kept up, however, by the Ana. Shatter doesn't really find anything there. Rinto does have the Death Blossom up on the high ground. Not sure if they want to use it at this point, as he's down like, what, 2-3 men? Oh, he Wraith walked on the wrong side of a Doomfist punch there. I believe he saved Wiz, but unfortunately that's about all he can say for it, as Null gets taken out, and that's basically the rest of the stagger for DK. They have 2 minutes still, and they have both DPS ults coming up on some support ults, but not the best situation for them.
Painless had a really good beat to keep his team alive while they were getting hard aggressed into, get them alive during the grab, although Null's already 60% to another one. But then Haishan also just didn't get anyone with his Shatter, so it could have been fight winning for sure, but I think Bob Burgess knew he had it. They played really split and just kept Ryan Shield up the entire time. Well played from them for sure.
Now DK pushes straight through main, already on to point. However, Phone position, he wasn't ready for that.
Shatter gets 4.
Wiz does take out Spartan, but that looks like all is going to happen here. Phone is still in the backline. He is rather low, so this is the opportunity to punish him. If anything, Rinto does get that revenge, but it looks like DK is going to have to soft reset here. Wiz still up on the high ground, finds Sloth, but he will have to back out now. The Painless has decided, oh no, never mind, he's coming back. And he actually is getting Painless rather low, but he is basically all alone right now up until his team pushed through the choke right here. Phone coming up to flank onto Wiz. Does get the flashbang, however neither DPS really find too much out of it. Graviton coming in from Note will catch 2 people. Sloth finds the 2 with his High Noon. That's going to be the fight for Bot Burgers with just under a minute left. And here comes the stagger. But it looks like
I think that's the most amount of kills we've seen from a Deadeye all match so far.
Yeah, not the best showings from the McCrees.
I think it's just that they've been using them in spots where the other team can just very easily just hide behind walls. Well, Skya does lend itself to letting you just hide from pre-ults really well.
Oh no, and Kit's right there. This is spelling disaster for DK if they can't even get a tick onto this point.
Phone's gonna show up a little bit late to the
Early
fight though.
Graviton coming in. Wiz actually gets saved by Phone's faulty aim. Rinto is slept out of his Death Blossom. Wiz does toss out the High Noon, however. Not sure if he'll find too much. Haishan whiffs his Shatter yet again. However, Silver Arrow does manage to take out the main tank. And it looks like the kills are coming in for DKE, but it is in overtime now, so any advantage coming in for Botburgers is going to spell disaster for DKE's attack here. However, they will get 2 ticks. Phone decides to finally come in with his fellow DPS, uses his Meteor Strike. Come in, and will he find any kills? He will not with his Meteor Strike. He actually gets taken out by Rinto. That's a beautiful play, and it looks like DKE might actually get all 3 ticks here, as not a single one of them are dying at the moment. Caster's Curse, possibly. We'll have to wait and see, but it doesn't look like it, as they are cleaning up all the kills, and they will take it in overtime.
Yeah, it's really huge of the guy in OT, because they're having a really hard time push up that entire second point. So getting it in OT is important. Although as long as Botburgers caps with just over a minute, it should just be seal their win. I don't see them. I don't see DKE being able to hold first point super well.
Yeah.
Although
well, we will have to wait and see.
I will say the Ryan Zarya probably is a little bit better for defense than offense here. But I still think that overall, just running a diva is just preferable. There's a lot of high ground that you need to take control of.
Was it Dogman that said in this meta, if you think Zarya is better than diva, you're just not a good diva? It was some Overwatch League pro, and I think that kind of rings true, because diva just has too much utility, and if played right, she can heavily deny Zarya. But it looks like both teams are actually going to go for the Ryan Zarya off the bat here. Phone possibly on the Pharah. A little bit sketched out by the viability of Doomfist, or maybe he's just trolling us. They are in attack, so they do have time to swap. Looks like DK is going to stick with what they know for now. Feel like they had enough value out of the Reaper McCree.
And as long as Rinto can just flank, you can get a lot of picks with the Reaper for sure. Phone does go back to the Doomfist, unsurprising.
If it works, why fix it?
Exactly.
Pushing up to choke through main, pretty standard at this point, especially with this kind of brawl. A lot of earlier ult chart there from Fire Strike for Silver Arrow. Beautiful 4-man flashbang onto DKE, but unfortunately Botburgers didn't really have the ability to follow up on it with the giant anti-nade. Note already getting incredibly low, as well as Spartan and Silver Arrow. Looks like the defense is going to have to push up, or rather the offense is going to have to push back here. Well, losing touch isn't particularly good, but considering they are with a 3-man advantage at this point, 2-man now, they are going to be able to close that out, and Phone does get staggered pretty late there. But Botburgers has plenty of time. Sloth already up to his high noon, matching Wiz, surprisingly enough. Those McCrees are definitely building up their ultimates rather fast. Phone actually decides to mirror match here as well. I guess the Doomfist is too expected at this point.
I think last fight, DKE gave a lot of space by aggressing and then immediately pulling back and giving up a lot of point. But then right after that, Botburgers just gave the space right back and just kind of got collapsed on.
You have Rinto teleporting up to the high ground, but immediately decides to back down. Sloth uses High Noon rather early. Will not find anything, but Haishan's shield is completely drained. Does find a shatter onto Silver Arrow, but he is shattered. Both tanks on the side of DKE rather low. Wish tries to use his High Noon, will not find anything. Gets taken out in the meantime. Phone, once again, cleaning up the fight when he's needed most. Rinto and Haishan getting rather low. Touch gets Ajaxed!
No.
And I believe Kit got Ajax as well. Oh no. Except he got Ajax on Ana.
2 huge ults just gone for DKE. And with the Grav on the side of Note, and nothing to take care of it for DKE. They won't have a nano to maybe keep up Orion or the B to just sustain through it. It should be as long as Note catches at least 2 with his Grav. This could be a really fast cap for Botburgers.
Yeah, this could be a snowball, and then DK is looking at like a, 4-minute hold for first tick on first point. So this is looking kind of sketchy. They're going to need a miracle defense. Phone getting rather aggressive won't really get punished for it.
There's
Early Graviton coming in from the beautiful Shatter coming in. I got Ajax there as well, so both Lucio's losing their ultimates. Now coming out onto Silver Arrow. Note getting incredibly low, however, he will survive and take out Wiz in the meantime. Phone back on the point. Rinto getting taken out along with Touch and Null. And Botburgers will start to get some percentage on the board here, as it's basically stall mode. Sloth pulling out the high noon, not much that DKE can do aside from just avoiding the point for the time being. However, it is getting into do or die mode as Wiz gets taken out by an anti-nade and a flashbang. Nice graviton coming in from Null, and Rinso has the Death Blossom to combo, and with that it looks like they will stabilize at 90.9%. A little bit sketchy there, but I guess it gets the job done. Not too many ultimates on the line for the defense, aside from the beat, but
yeah, when your own team grabs, you really have to expect the other Reinhardt to try and look for a shatter. It's a pretty common practice. So Silver, rather than holding shield in front of it, swung into it and let his team get shattered. If he just held shield, let his team do the work, do the damage, then I think they could have sealed that attack much faster and maybe got all 3 ticks. But that's not what happened. He let his whole team get shattered and lost way too many people at the beginning of the fight.
Botburgers plunges onto point, but Null gets taken out almost. But he's so incredibly low, and he will get taken out by Null. That was an extremely clean and quick fight. Aside from Touch having to use the beat there, that's an ult they probably wish they could have kept. I think they were expecting the Death Blossom to come out as Phone was getting rather aggressive, looking for an opportunity to use it.
Yeah, no, in this upcoming fight, I would not be surprised at all to see a Nano Death Blossom or just nanoing the Reaper in general. Does so much damage if you get to play close, and that's exactly what's been happening on almost every single fight. So, and also DK doesn't have any ults, so they'll be able to build the Deadeye here, but I don't think they'll have it fast enough to make it count. This should be
Botburgers struggling with the elevator boss in the meantime.
And they're just looks like they're just afraid to push up. They're finally gonna drop though.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of damage before they ever even dropped. Phone is in the backline. He tried to Death Blossom, but it completely failed. That High Noon coming out from Wiz. I'm not sure if he entirely needed it. And granted, he's not going to be able to use it anyways because he slept out. Haishan and Rinso get taken out by the supports, but aside from the Lucio and the Ana, really just Sloth here. Oh, no, actually, Note is still alive. He was rather low. I thought he died. But DKE is still stalling out the point, but Null getting taken down. That's huge. Note getting nanoed as well as Painless dropping the beat. Graviton coming out for Botburgers. This might be their chance to take it, if anything. DKE doesn't really have the manpower to stall at this point, and with a minute and a half, just about, they will take both ticks. So that's not the most impossible defense, but DKE is going to have to do better than they did last time.
In the fight prior to the last one, Botburgers built a lot of ultimates, and they burnt every single one. So they really need to make that last fight count. Of course they did. They got the 1 tick that they needed. So it's really smart from them, just being very careful with their ults, and then unleashing them all at once. Just let them seal a lot of kills, do a lot of damage, and also have a lot of sustain. So really, with how many ults that Botburgers used, didn't really look like DK stood much of a chance there. Although the Reaper Deadeye was basically wasted. They could have gotten a lot more value out of it. Instead, the Reaper actually just died almost instantly because he didn't wait out the stun from the Kree. So didn't get a lot of value out of that for sure. They did nano the Zarya after, still a lot of damage, high charge. So it did pay off to use the nano on the Zarya, but I think the nano on the Reaper could have been just as good, maybe giving them even more time.
Do have a mirror match coming out from both teams yet again. No real surprises here. It's been working for both of them in some regards, so might as well just stick with it. Botburgers looking for a single tick. DKE looking to deny them. It did take Botburgers about 2 minutes to cap it last time, so if DKE can do something similar and not choke it out in the final hour, they should be good. Noting a lot of early damage, that will give quite a bit of ult charge towards Sloth's High Noon. Kid also taking a bit of damage here, however, he is already about a third of the way to his nano. Haishan also has an incredibly high ult charge for his Shatter, considerably higher than Silver Arrow, who's not even 10% as of yet. Botberg is once again taking a lot of poke damage and taking a while to get onto the point. Note does drop down, but it looks like the team is sort of split in their decisions of what to do. Maybe a bit of communication error here. Botberg is taking a lot of damage here. Sloth is getting very low as well as Phone. Silver Arrow gets slept out. Spartan gets taken out. And Rinso and Wiz might have just saved that fight. Botburgers really only have a quick fight coming up here. They wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, not
Oh no,
only
it's gonna get
that.
staggered.
No,
Maybe
okay.
not. Okay.
Well, not only that, but also Haishan already has his shatter. Silver Arrow only 63 can maybe build this
Oh
fight. Note gets staggered. He's not going to be there for the final fight. It looks like only 24 seconds left.
He
Haishan will have the
backed out,
shatter.
but then he pushed forward because he wanted to kill, and then it failed hard. Wiz is still about half health. Not sure what's going on with the healers there, but I guess they don't need to quite yet. But still, I mean, free ult charge, especially with them coming up on their support ultimates. DKE has this fight in the bag. It's theirs to lose. They have the ult advantage. Oh, four-man shatter, and that's basically all they needed. Phone on the Doomfist. Not sure if it's going to matter as Wiz comes in with the high noon to close it out, and DK are not giving Bot Burgers the match point quite yet.
Of course, winning the first fight. DK just got way more ults. They had the high noon halfway through, but more importantly, right here, I'm assuming this is gonna be play the game. The nano onto Aishan, as well as the shatter, just gets so much value. They needed nothing else but it. I guess I used the nano a bit late onto him. Regardless, still an easy fight win for them, really.
Yep, they built up the ultimates they needed. They used them all. They pressed Q more. Granted, they had Q more. Anyways, so because it was a draw, DKE gets map pick again.
I think,
and that is between Hollywood and Nambani.
Looks like DKE is gonna put in Pichu now that they're off a map. Most likely that doesn't lend itself as well to playing Zarya. I think that putting Pichu in, who primarily plays Diva, is just gonna be better for them, and I think they'll be able to get way more than a draw now, hopefully for them. But I think Bob Burgers, I think their main tank play has been a little bit better with Silver Arrow. I think he's been doing a solid job for the most part. So if they're running, it's either Hollywood or Numbani. I think on Numbani first point, we might end up seeing Dive again, which didn't really work out for either team. You can also play Rhine, but it's a little bit harder to take control of the high ground, especially if they're running like Kriana. We'll usually see both of those just staged up on the high ground on Numbani. So I would expect DKE to go for Hollywood.
Possibly. I believe most of Novice yesterday played Nambani, so I wouldn't mind seeing some Hollywood. Okay, and sure enough, we see Nambani.
Oh, well. Spoke too soon, I guess.
Well,
They're going to run Numbani.
Yep. Nambani seems to be the more popular pick here, I suppose, and it looks like Burger's going to make it easy on us and stick with defense. Ask them if they're ready, and then we'll just hop straight into it. Not much more to it. But Burger is taking more time. They seem to do some coaching in between.
Yeah, I think after Ilios, I definitely have more confidence in Bob Burger's ability to dive when they're on attack. But I think you can definitely run the Reinhardt here as well. You can run a lot on Numbani. So, but I think typically if you're not on Winston on attack, you give up a lot of space. And DK doesn't seem to prefer playing Winston. So we'll see how that goes. Could be a full hold for Bot Burgers as long as they play it right.
Actually, one interesting thing here is that Nambani is conducive to a little bit of Pharah play on first and possibly second point. And Phone is a particularly standout Pharah. Like the three heroes that come to mind when I think of him are Doomfist, Reaper, and Pharah. So possibly that could be in Bot Burger's favor. I guess we'll have to wait and see, though. Granted, Wiz is a pretty formidable hit scan, so maybe not the best pick here with the Pharah, but possibly some more Doomfist. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. We're still waiting on Bot Burgers to say are.
First point defense on Numbani also is really good for Doomfist because if they're pushing bottom, which they really have to, and there's so much high ground around, you can just go for the regular E slam and get like a lot of damage because you'll just be in the air for a while. So you can get a lot of damage out of the E ability. You can get to safety pretty quick with just an uppercut punch or uppercut E, whatever it is. Doomfist is just really strong here in general. Finally gonna get to it.
All right, so we have to wait a little while longer to be certain as to what DKE is going to be running for sure. Excuse me. But Botburgers, we will have a clearer picture of what they intend on running here on defense.
They might be running a Soldier 76 here. We saw it in Owl a little bit while both McCree and Widow were banned, but I think in general, the only reason you'd be running Soldier is if McCree and Widow are both banned. I think they can still definitely make it work. You can get back to high ground. Well, maybe not compared to Widow, but compared to McCree, Soldier can definitely get back to high ground faster. But I think I'm surprised they're not just running McCree or Widow. No, they're definitely running out with Soldier, not even the Doomfist. So
interesting. It's probably something they have to have scrimmed with in practice. You know, you figure otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. Do have a standard dive coming out here from DKA, bringing it all the way back to 2018. It did work for them a little bit, but it was rather awkward on Ilios, so I have to wait and see how they get value out of it. Wiz already on the flank. Dive coming in early up to note on the high ground. Not the most diveable target. They do back out almost immediately. Not really getting too much ult charge out of that either. Really just giving ult charge to Spartan. Wiz gets taken out. Maybe that's why Phone was on Soldier. Because the Helix rocket to the face is not what Wiz was expecting nor wanting. Silver Arrow jumping onto DK's squishies. However, it does look like they will get out alive for the time being. There's too many of them. Pichu does have to jump off as she was demeched by note a little bit earlier. And that's going to run down the clock just a little bit more. Granted, they still have plenty of time. It's not panic mode quite yet. And Botburgers is just slightly ahead overall in terms of ult percentage. Wiz already in the backline, almost taking out Sloth. He is just darting around, blinking back and forth. Looks like he's not letting up onto Sloth quite yet. However, Sloth does back out and get healed up by Spartan. Wiz does have to use his recall. Silver Arrow getting incredibly low here. However, the rest of DKE doesn't really decide to capitalize on that opening. And now Silver Arrow pops his Primal Rage with Haishan getting taken on the backline. A few kills coming in for both teams here, but it looks to be stabilizing for Botburgers. Yeah, as more kills come rolling in. Note and Sloth running amok everywhere, not even in the front line or the back line, just everywhere on DKE.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I have a little bit more confidence in Botburgers' ability to dive. So, considering DK pretty much has to play Monkey here, it's going to be really tough for them to cap this first point. Both teams also have a lot of ultimates. Well, that's one less ultimate for DKE, so gonna have to hopefully see a good nano, probably onto the Winston.
Do you have Nano Blade coming up almost?
Or
but Pichu returns the favor. Wiz actually winning the Tracer 1v1. Note does toss in the bomb. It didn't really find anything. Nano attack visor with Nano Blade coming in return, but it looks like the attack visor is finding more value for the time being. I don't know where the Nano Blade actually is anymore. It just kind of like ran off, chasing after Phone. Yeah, they're all chasing after Phone, who running around. Phone will get the Mega Health back and get back to point. Rather scrappy, to say the least. I think that's exactly what we were expecting, though. Pichu is incredibly low, but she does still have her mech and her bomb, mind you. So she does have that. She's waiting for the health pack awkwardly. Hopefully the rest of her team will not. The rest of the defenders, rather, will not find her. And she does get healed up. But Haishan is taken out with only about a minute left. This is getting sort of in desperation mode, and Wiz telling is not going to help that.
Yeah, the Nano Plate got almost nothing there. I really don't even think it managed to get any value. They also used Beat along with it to make sure that Rinto just didn't die in Blade. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether or not you're alive if you're not hitting anything.
They hard swapped over to the Brawl, but at this point, like, a minute is not where you know, that's sort of like the 2-minute mark is the last chance that you'd have. I think after that first dive, it might have been time to just say, okay, maybe not, and just swap over to this, because they got the point a lot easier. However, Haishan is already anti. Wiz taking out Phone is a good start, however, and Haishan wasn't capitalized on. Silver Arrow is charged out of the way. He does use his ultimate. Wiz is taken out by Painless, awkward. Kit is taken out by Silver Arrow with his Primal Rage, the last vestiges of it. Both Diva Bombs coming out. It looks like Sloth will get taken out, but so will Haishan. It looks like a rather equal man advantage. No, actually, the defenders have more. Rinto gets taken out by the Winston. That's never what you want to see as a Reaper. And they couldn't quite get a tick. I don't know if they're going to be able to touch. Wiz might attempt it. He does actually touch, so overtime will clock, but Kit's not going to be able to get there in time. Nope.
Yeah.
So they are first held.
Silver Arrow played that extremely well. He used his Primal to just take Kit, their Ana, DK's Ana, out of the fight entirely. So they had almost no heals there. And the Rhine also chased after the monkey to try and save the Ana. Neither of them really got anything done that entire time. So it's just way better on the side of Bob Burgers. And then of course the Ana dies to the Primal Rage. Good juggling from Silver Arrow as well.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Burgers, I don't want to say they looked good, but they looked better than DKE.
Right.
Really unfortunate here because last week, with the lineup that DKE had, especially with Elf in, I don't know if she's like unavailable or what, but she was like a top tier May player. And, granted, May's not able to be played right now, but like at the very least, DKE was by far their strongest thing. And now they just kind of look like their old selves. Phone on the Sombra, interesting.
Might just be the scout though.
Possibly, yeah, that is true. I don't think I've seen too much Sombra play besides the occasional advanced strat.
But
Pretty
I like the
same
Reaper
coming up.
pick. I like the Reaper pick a lot because if they're, for example, if the attackers are trying to run top left or go bottom left even, it's really tight space. You can't really push through a Reaper there at all, especially when you're playing Winston rather than the Reinhardt.
Yeah, however, you do have the scout coming in. Oh, looks like they're all running out. Sticking to bringing it back to stage 3 of Overwatch League Season 1. Yep, looks like they're going to be sticking with this as Spartan takes a little bit of early poke damage, but he will get healed up almost immediately. Painless, almost feeding there. Pichu does get hacked out. Sombra already putting in some work. Wiz getting pressured down by both flankers. Note getting demeched, however, and Silver Arrow getting booped off the map somehow. And it looks like Bob Burgers will have to retreat for now. I wouldn't be shocked to see some swaps coming in. Looks like the dive will remain for the time being. Granted, that was literally the first fight. They had plenty of time to build up ultimates and actually use them.
My one big concern right now is that looking at Bob Burgers' comp, they have really low damage. They're not getting a lot done in terms of damage, and when you're getting swung at by a Reinhardt and just beat down by a Reaper, you're just getting out damaged, and it just doesn't do a lot here. Because there's not a lot to flank either if they're all playing on top of each other.
Do have the dive coming up onto the high ground. Kit is getting, but he will survive. Wiz is literally taken out. Silver Arrow and Painless fall, however. That is a really good start to this fight. Note and Phone are up on the high ground, but there's not much they can do. They're just poking around. Not much they can really do from up there. Note is actually slept, so that's kind of awkward. Sloth is get taken out by Rinto, and now the reverse dive is coming up onto the high ground as Note gets demeched. Phone is, well, he translocated, so he's back towards the Mega Health Pack, up to the attacker's left side. Phone is trying to get back onto point. He's getting somewhat close to his EMP. He will have it briefly, but not if Pichu and Wiz can stun and kill him. In the meantime, gonna have to wait a little bit longer, but we do finally have some ultimates coming online, but DKE is building them a little bit faster.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bob Burgers is building their ultimates incredibly slow. They will finally have the EMP now, 2 minutes in, but at the same time, I mean, you could maybe expect the bomb with EMP, that's about it.
Possibly, there's not too much combos that can be done here. Nice shatter from Haishan, but he does get slept out of it, and... Oh, no, Wiz. Rinto does attempt to Death Blossom. A lot of these ultimates are just for naught right now. What just happened there? I think... Oh, no.
Bomb EMP.
This is going completely in the favor of Bob Burgers, as basically every ultimate was hard negated from DKE, and Bob Burger just exactly knew how to deal with everything, really. So they are on match point right now. They're 2-0 with one draw. Probably the Shatter coming in from Haishan on their attack.
No, it's just him. Well, now we get to see how. Well, that's how he fell off the map. Yeah, I saw the Reaper on the side of DKE use Death Blossom, just not really near anyone. Got nothing out of it, and I felt the same way about every other ultimate used in that last fight as well. Both teams just pulled the trigger on every single one, but only really on the side of Bomb Burgers did we see value out of them. The EMP, the bomb, etc. Just much better ult usage and better timing in general.
All right, so DKE gets to choose between Dorado or Gibraltar. And let's see, Burgers gets to choose the side. I severely hope that DKE does not choose Gibraltar. I think they've already shown that they're not comfortable on the dive. Dorado would be much more suited to them.
I'd be shocked to see Gibraltar played here because really you can run a. I mean, it's pretty common to see a Winston the entire time, and DKE has lost every single dive. And so Dorado, on the other hand, really good for playing Ryan Diva. So hopefully DKE runs with that. They're definitely much better suited on those heroes. So, and on Dorado, you can also see a Widowmaker, and Wiz definitely has seemed comfortable playing Widow. Although at the same time, I think Sloth has probably got the best of him in terms of the duel. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out if they end up deciding to play Widowmaker here. They are going to choose Dorado. So that's
thankfully
not surprising. Not surprising at all.
I was a little bit worried there for a minute that it'd just be another like spawn camp fest. Actually, an update from one of the other matches. It looks like I see one of the overcharged players in the casting booth #1. So possibly the recorded match. I believe it would have been overcharged versus Powerhouse. Overcharged might have actually won that, which is fascinating. Anyways, let's get back to this match. Let's see.
So I was talking about how I think it would be best if DKE ran Diva as well as Wiz on Widow, because there's a lot of space you can take. There's some good angles, especially on defense. There's the back bridge of first point, the back high ground, and you really get sights on the entirety of the point. So it would be smart to play that. You could also definitely see McCree does a similar job, that maybe you can pull out more damage, more close range. But other than that, Dorado, typically you'll see standard. Well, standard aside from the May, because May is banned. So I wouldn't be surprised if we even saw a double hit scan. And yeah, there's no Hanzo as well, if I'm correct. So
May and Hanzo are gone.
Yeah, not going to see Hanzo, not going to see May. So I also would be surprised to see the Reaper, although I don't know if Dorado is as strong for playing Reaper.
Second point can be. I don't really think he's that strong on first or third. But anyways, we're still waiting on the teams. I think DK is getting some serious coaching right now or something, because this is match point, and while they did manage to tie up Volskaya, they haven't really gotten anything on the board as of yet, and they really just need that first tick. They need that first take to actually get them back in the game.
Yeah. In other news, it looks like CDC lost a double cap of all teams, so they're not going to be at the top place. 4-way tie for 4-1. It's a loss for CDC. They're going to be knocked down quite a bit. Seems so.
Who did they face off against? Double cap.
Okay.
Double cap has been a pretty solid mid-tier team. I could see them on the right day. Granted, they did lose like half of their players. I think some of them to CDC. So
that's ironic for sure.
Yeah. We'll. Oh yeah. So I guess we're the only game still going on then. Probably, I don't know. Anyways,
we're just waiting for DKE to be ready.
Got about 1 minute left before we gotta hop into it. They do have some subs possible. At the very least, they have Noel they can swap back in for Pichu. Pichu didn't really seem to be doing too bad, though. I don't think if you swap anything up, it would be them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any point to swap Noel back in. So both teams now finally ready. DKE going to be on attack. So maybe we'll see Bob Burgers full hold again. Make this last map a little fast. Potentially even. Well, I guess it's too late for under an hour. But they did make last map rather pretty fast. So
Yeah, we'll have to see. We will get a first peek at Botburger's comp here as they are on defense.
yeah, as expected, Ryan Devo, Kree, Lucio, and Ana. But the last DPS pick is really what matters here. I was kind of hoping for a Widowmaker on either side. But then we look at DKE, they're going to be playing Reaper as they have been for the majority of the time that they've been playing.
Interesting. Touch on the break here, especially if they're both running Brawl. It is viable. It'd be pretty difficult if Botburgers was wanting to get another dive. Phone finally swaps over to the Doomfist. However, he is going to have to get to his team rather quickly, so they probably will, if they act fast, DKE could take a 5v6. Or a 6v5 in their case. Never mind, phone is back because he used some Doomfist tech to get back quicker. But he will have to wait a little bit for his cooldowns. Pichu taking a lot of early damage, however, Sloth and Silver are taking a lot. Antony coming out onto touch, but it doesn't really matter how much they can really do at this moment for the taking down the Brig. Doomfist is... where is he actually? He's up on the high ground. He does jump in, however, he gets stunned up quite a bit and decides to get out of. Having the Brig for the extra shield bash stun is probably going to prove useful. He is back up on the high ground, however. And Sloth will take out Touch, but Silver Arrow is taken out as well. Phone gets incredibly low, Note is demeched, and this is looking pretty good for DKE for the time being.
Yeah,
Pichu is kind of low. Okay, and the anti-mate comes in, and they nano the Doomfist. This fight is not over quite yet. You'd think that they would just soft reset, but that is not quite the case. DKE is actually rather low. They were, as I was saying that originally, but it looks like they're going to have to back further out, and the Nano and the Shatter come out. Haishan finds two, both tanks, and it looks like both of them will be taken out. Phone does take out a DMX Pichu, as well as Kit, but Wiz finally silences the Doomfist as Painless comes in for one last moment to stall. That was a fast take.
Rather than backing up to regroup with his team, Painless instead engaged basically on his own and died super early, so they didn't have the Lucio, which means they couldn't really get onto the point. Botburgers couldn't get onto the point as fast as they probably would have wanted to, and they had way less healing, so without the Lucio there's basically no way for them to win that fight, unless the Phone, of course, got picked, which he did.
Do have a bit of a brawl coming in here onto the church. Wiz actually getting the better of, way separated from the team. 2 DPS down. The 2 remaining DPS still have their ultimates online. Both of them can be rather impactful depending on how they want to use it. Pichu getting incredibly low after she will get healed up, and Kit will get a lot of ult charge for that. DKE seems to have more ultimates online for the time being. However, Botburgers are using more of theirs. Sloth does get Haishan. Nice distraction there with the bomb and the high noon coming in. It looks like Botburgers will stop the cart there momentarily. Soft reset coming in. Kit does take out Sloth. It's a nice way to ease off the pressure a bit. However, Pichu is staggered a little bit. Wiz getting possibly a little bit over aggressive there, but Haishan is there to back him up with the shield.
Although they lost the fight, DKE probably played that a little bit better because they didn't commit a single ultimate. Now they're coming up with all 6. As long as they use them, as long as they use them well, don't really waste any that like we sort of have seen before. They should be able to win this fight, especially with the rally to engage.
Early rally coming in to engage. We do have Rinto getting to use his Haishan uses his Shatter. Won't really find anything. Wiz doesn't find too much with his High Noon, however, besides demacking Note. About, 3 ultimates coming out from DKE. None of them really finding too much value. Touch does find Sloth, but it looks like DKE is going to have to back out here. Touch getting probably staggered. Oh, well, yeah, kind of. Yeah, he's just going to get staggered here. Kind of didn't catch the call to retreat with the rest of his team.
And despite using 4 ultimates there, DK really didn't get a lot out of it. Haishan didn't hit anyone with the Shatter, aside from his shield. And it looks like both Wiz and Pichu might even get staggered again.
Up here on the far right, we do have Note getting incredibly low. Probably will get demeched here unless some healing comes in last moment. Surprisingly, it will. Phone swaps over to the Soldier. Already has attack visor. When did that happen? Oh, Painless feeds. I know that was the meme last season on Double Cap. And I guess he's living up to it. Wiz getting somewhat close to his high noon, Sloth a little bit ahead of him in that regard. But we do have the attack visor coming in from foam way in the back line. Rinzo uses his Death Blossom and takes out the visoring phone. A little bit of a meme there, but I guess it works. Pichu tossing in the bomb. This fight just went to hell. Painless dies yet again. This man is not allowed to play the game anymore, as Haishan just gets slept and charged and melted. Both supports on the side of DKE are antied briefly, however, there wasn't there to capitalize on it. Rinto gets stunned out, but it doesn't quite matter. Note tossing in the bomb. Not sure if it'll find anything. It will not, but Phone does manage to take out Touch. Phone now on his, third or fourth hero swap here onto the Tracer. Interesting. But DKE is still holding a solid presence on point, and with Haishan coming back on point, and with some ultimates on DKE's side, as opposed to, like, one. Nice attempts on a shadow there from Haishan, will not find any. Sloth tosses in the high noon, not sure if it'll find much aside from Haishan's shield. Nano Reaper, he is getting rather close to his Death Blossom, not sure if he'll need it at this point in time, is really just note. Wiz tosses in the high noon, don't know if that was necessary. Pulse Bomb comes in onto Wiz, almost rolled into his team. Thankfully he did not, and DKE has still looked scrappy, but they're actually winning a lot of these scrappy encounters. I think the Brig is possibly helping here with a little bit more tankiness on the side of the supports.
Yeah, I want to give a special shout out to Sloth because P2 had a really good bomb spot, launching in way out into the open. Well, it would have been, but Sloth had saved his stun, and actually just stunned it before he even came around the corner and saved maybe a few members of his team, potentially Zana, which I've never really seen anyone do before.
Yep, and we do have DKE just slowly inching up the cart. They are up to the bridge now. Rizzo up on the high ground with Painless and Note. However, he will get booped off. Phone taking out Wiz, but Phone is back onto the Reaper now. Do have a nice shatter coming in from Silver Arrow. Will find, what, 2 or 3. Painless using the beat there. Not sure if that was necessary, as they were already winning the fight. Possibly thought that the shadow was coming in from the other side. And Bot Burgers will actually clean up the fight, and Pichu is getting rather staggered here.
Yeah, there won't be a beat if Painless's team gets shattered. However, they do have the high noon, and if you place your high noon at the back end of the point, as long as you let the other team push up a little bit, you can definitely catch a lot. Wiz is also gonna, by the time they actually aggress, Wiz will also have his high noon, which could also catch a lot, especially considering it looks like they're coming in from high ground.
Phone not quite close to his F Blossom, so that cheeky spot isn't really going to too much. No one's noticing him right now. And he is collapsing onto Kit, however, the damage isn't quite coming in as Pichu is ready there with the attack. The Defense Matrix, Rinto finding quite a lot of kills here, crucial kills as well. Note tosses in the bomb, probably won't find anything, will not. And a nice shatter coming in from Haishan will find Silver Arrow, sectioning him off. Note getting demeched, and this is all looking like DKE's rounds to win with probably some time. Sloth does have the high noon, not sure if he's going to want to use it here as he would be a sitting duck. Painless trying to come in, but will get stunned and killed. Pichu tosses in the bomb, not sure where that went. Doesn't really matter. Death Blossom coming out from Rinto to clean up the point, and they will cap it with about 33 seconds left. That is crucial that they capped it with some time remaining.
Yeah, DKE finally had a really strong engage coming in from the high ground. The Reaper was there, but the Reaper on the side of Bob Burgers didn't really get anything done, and they also, I think, nearly demech Note. So just coming in from the high ground, giving your DPS a lot of space, a lot of room to work with. Wiz was just able to do a ton of damage on McCree just sitting up on the high ground, so just really, really good rotation. They were able to collapse on Bob Burgers really fast and just do way more damage.
Yeah, I think Phone there in the Reaper for once didn't actually get a lot of value. He just, like, no one noticed him, which was kind of funny. But unfortunately, as he started shooting, Pichu happened to notice him at just the right time. Defense Matrix, all his damage, and he was basically just caught out at that point. He was at risk for, 3 different stuns with Flashbang, Shield Bash, and Sleep. So, interesting possible comp coming out from Bot Burgers. The fact that Painless is on Mercy makes me think they might actually run out with Sloth on Pharah here. He is known for his Pharah. He was rather good on Bot Burgers last season on the Pharah. Possibly a dive coming in. However, with Painless swapping over to Lucio, I'm thinking that they're probably not going to stick with the Pharah. Phone onto the Sombra. They did try and run it. Okay, Bot Burgers, make up your mind. We do have pretty much the same comp coming out from DK on the defense. However, I like the Brig pick here. It worked rather well. I could see them doing some real work here. Possibly that's
we're-
why they're running Sloth on the Pharaoh, because it'll nullify the Brig to some degree.
Yeah, the only thing to keep in mind is that Wiz is generally regarded as a pretty strong
Tusk gets
McCree
knocked
player.
off. Yes, Wiz is a very strong McCree player. Rinto gets taken down to about half health, and Touch did get booped off of the high ground there by Sloth, so they do have to rotate almost immediately. However, the car was getting there anyways. Phone is getting rather low. He is being challenged by Pichu. However, Pichu does have to back out, and sure enough, Wiz says, yeah, not in my house, as the Pharah just gets domed and then body shot, and that's basically the end of it. Phone already about halfway to his EMP, getting a lot of poke damage, but not too many kills. Also getting rather low. Silver Arrow does die in the middle of that fight. Note gets demeched. Nice anti-nade coming in from Spartan, but it's not really going to matter as there's no one to capitalize on it. And Sloth is still sticking on this Pharah, especially with Painless not there, not pocketing him. Note decides to jump off. That's a rather late stagger, and already Botburgers are killing a lot of their time. And in the meantime, Wiz has the high noon. So
They're calling for a pause.
we do have a pause coming in.
It's the pause on the side of DKE. I'm not sure for who exactly. How? Okay, Pichu closing the program. They're ready now. Interesting for sure. I respect the pause. And one other thing I saw was Silvero tried to stage a dive while he was on Winston, but Touch is sitting on the low ground, although I guess Touch was booped down there. Just sitting down there was able to boop the Winston mid-dive, didn't even get a little bit off the ground, got knocked right back down. And it made them waste a lot of time, and they couldn't really get any high ground.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to pause real quick here, and both teams are starting to come up on the support ultimates on the side of Botburgers in particular are coming up rather fast. Phone coming up on his EMP. They could possibly try and take a dry fight with just the EMP. Haishan is stalling out the cart there onto the bridge. They're coming up on 2.5 minutes here, time bank. Haishan taking quite a bit of damage here, but no one really doing too much. Beautiful shadow coming in from Haishan. Spartan. Note is going to get demeched as well. Wiz is taken out by Sloth. A little bit of revenge there, but Phone is going to have to back out and just wait for his team to come back.
The Pharah on the side of Bomberg is just building ultimate really slow, and Wiz is just taking care of it, taking care of the Farm Mercy really well. Haven't really been able to make a lot of space, so hopefully I have the Barrage here. I wouldn't be surprised to see either a Barrage EMP or the EMP comboed with a the Shatter, maybe even the Diva Bomb. There's a lot you can do with it, and because there it is.
Do have quite a lot of ultimates coming online, as well as the EMP Shatter, and that sounds basically everyone at EMP. About
I believe
pretty much a clean fight for Botburgers.
I believe Phone's EMP caught all 6.
I
It was hard
think
to
he
see
did,
because
yeah.
they all also got shattered at the same time. So
I
really
believe
well
only 4
executed.
got shattered, and then like the EMP got all 6
Mm-hmm.
because I believe Rinto or Wiz wasn't in the shatter. But anyways, Botburgers managed to take that with really just 2 ultimates. It does look like they are going to recontest this. Rinto does take out Phone, but Sloth finds 2. Pichu finds 2 with the bomb and the Pharah Mercy nonetheless. However, no returns with another 2. What is this fight? As Rinto does have Death Blossom, decides to use it onto the point, but that was a little bit
Death Blossom was
a little bit ambitious, too ambitious, one could say, as it didn't really find much.
Yeah, Rinto was not only low, but also just not in a really good position to look for a Death Blossom in general. It was kind of placed like behind the cart, wouldn't really catch anyone. I'm not sure what the decision behind that was, but the Barrage was really well placed. But then just the Diva Bomb, because of the spot that the Barrage was, they had literally nowhere to run. They're still halfway through with their Barrage, just didn't have enough time to escape. But then Note also caught 2. Didn't really matter.
Oh, Phone gets Wiz in the back line, and that's going to have to be the back out as Rinto and Haishan get antied. Haishan does find another 2-man shatter. Silver getting immediately melted. Kit is taken out by Note, but Silver actually gets rezzed. A nice play by Painless there in the Valkyrie. Do have Haishan hacked up here, so he will not have his shield, and sure enough, he will take too much damage. Rinto still on the cart. Manages to take out Silver Arrow yet again, however, Sloth does finish off the Reaper. And Botburger's going to keep this cart moving after a brief stall.
Alright, I think Haishan got a pin onto Silver Arrow, but was hacked midway through and just completely canceled it. And that could even won the fight because it would have pulled Silver Arrow into a really bad position for Botburgers, who wouldn't have had a shield.
High Noon coming out. However, it gets EMP'd out of it. Another EMP shatter. Along with the
Massive.
EMP, Rinto falling soon after. Pichu getting demech'd. Not sure about the barrage if that was entirely necessary. Painless actually gets taken out by Haishan. Not sure how that happened. But the EMP shatter nonetheless was good.
Yeah, but Phone's actually building these EMPs much faster than previously seen, and able to get so much value because there's so much that you can combo with when you're running what Bob Burgers is with the Brine, Diva, really just everything can combo really well with the EMP. And if you're building it fast, you can win basically every single fight with it as long as you have it. I think Pichu and Rinto both could probably be doing a better job of scouting for the Diva or for the Sombra, however.
Yep, they do have both teams sort of holding up around this bridge here. Once again, a nice little artificial choke point. Do have Phone up on the high ground in the backline, managed to get around Pichu, and Pichu is packed up on the high ground. Haishan Shatter doesn't really find much. Oh, and no finds another two with Haishan getting charged out of his shield. No protection for Pichu or Wiz. And Bob Burgers is just going to continue to roll on through. However, Touch was stalling out the cart in a little cheeky position I've never really seen before. Just by the doorway there. But there is still time for one last fight here for DKE. They do have the ultimates. They can potentially stall it out. Phone doesn't quite have the EMP. Silver Arrow is coming up on the Shatter. Pichu tosses in the bomb. Won't find anything, but Sloth getting taken out early as he pick, as well as finding Silver Arrow. Kit is slept off, however he does finally wake up. The beat coming out from Touch didn't really find too much, but then again, there wasn't too much pressure coming in from Bob Burgers at that point.
Well, the beat actually let Wiz play super aggressive and just got a ton of picks, just as McCree, able to build his High Noon. And now, if we look at the alts, the EMP is online again for Bob Burgers, and they've won every single fight with it previously. They have High Noon and Shatter. I would presume they're going to look for the EMP Shatter, so as long as DKE just continues playing high ground like they are now, the EMP Shatter can't really catch that much.
Phone. So Phone does have to retreat with the rest of his team, so now it's going to find value. Actually, no, he does re-cloak and go back.
Alright, EMP about to come out. Looks like Phone's getting in them.
Finds everyone besides Wiz and Kit. Shadow really only finds Rinto there, who's taken out valuable pick. Note does toss in the bomb, won't find anything. Kit finding Silver Arrow is a huge pick for this fight, and Haishan was nanoed there to put a little bit of extra pressure. Spartan just going to get staggered here, as slept, and actually no, he's taken out rather immediately, and it's going to be rather difficult here for Bob Burgers to take third point with more or maybe even equal time to DKE.
Yeah. As I'd hope they would. DKE played both high ground and really split, which meant that the EMP and the Shatter both weren't really able to find a lot, at least not as a combo, though Shatter only found one. So now Haishan with the Shatter of his own should be able to make this fight pretty quick, as well as the Death Blossom. You play really close here.
You do have Bob Burgers pushing up onto the high ground. DKE the cart is just below the bridge, so they can stall out the clock if necessary. However, they do need to actually get down to the cart first, as it is still moving backwards. You can't push it from the bridge. No one's on the cart currently. Please touch. This would be terrible if it ended the C9. Okay. Haishan throws out the Shatter. Will not find anything. Haishan is actually slept out as well. Rinto does have the Death Blossom. Wiz does have the High Noon, but Haishan and Kit and Rinto falling. That's catastrophic for DKE. Touch does have the beat. He will use it, but it's just him. It's a solo beat just to try and stall that much longer. They did bring it out to overtime, but that's not what DKE wants. They want to stop this and win the map here and now. They do have both DPS ultimates, and Haishan is back on the ball to stall out that much longer. That Sloth has the High Note. Using it, just stalling out that much longer. Haishan is taken out. Rinto does have Death Blossom, will drop down, gets booped, does manage to survive, takes out Spartan, but will... No, he's actually still alive. He got nanoed and manages to take out Silver Arrow, but he will eventually... But DK is still in stall mode here. They're not really finding the kills they need. And with Phone having Death Blossom of his own, it will take out Haishan once again. Wiz back on the Tracer. But that's really so much they can do. Kit is back on the Moira, however he does get stunned up, and he already used his Fade. And sure enough, they step out point for just a brief moment. Bob Burgers cap it with no time left, meaning that they have both about a minute and a half respectively.
All right, so Burgers will be attacking for a second time now, and we'll probably. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Pharah again because it did help them win at the the final fight there on first point. But at the same time, the Barrage was built super slow. But I think if there's one thing for certain, they will be running a Sombra because they just won a lot of fights just off of EMP alone. So
yeah, the EMP Shadow combos were just absolutely crazy. One thing I personally would like to see is DKE hold extremely aggressive because they just need to stop it from first point, right? Like if they effectively try and spawn camp, they can take that early fight, stall down the clock because they only have a minute. And then by the time they come back, they're going to be just past the bridge, just past that choke point. They can still get an early hold on first point, assuming everything goes well. It looks like they might be going for a pirate ship strat, which is risky, but if it works, it works.
oh yeah, they're. Are they going to be playing the Bastion here?
Looks like they want to. It will be a little bit awkward because they're not going to have very much to deal with it. Brig. Well, the Brig has been very useful for most cases here for DKE.
Except for in the deep depths of competitive Overwatch, I've never seen a Rhine Sigma. So this will definitely be interesting. Without the Orisa, of course, they do still want to run double shield. So I guess this is their best option if they're trying to play Bastion.
DKE almost immediately sees the Bastion and rotates around. They just don't know how to react to this. I mean, Haishan's shield is getting melted. Bone already takes out Wiz and Kit and Touch. Oh no, this is going perfectly on the side of Botburgers. They do have the res available, and it looks like they're going to be able to, as there's no one there to deny it. Pichu is demeched and rather low. She's just going to get staggered here. Yep. Rinto will get out.
There's one thing that they shouldn't have done there. It's hard to grass into that Bastion who just had a double healer pocket. They could have just played around walls.
However, Wiz is now on the Sombra. If he can get a good hack, which Phone is completely kept out in the open pocket. The hack does come. Phone is hacked up, but the healing is there to protect him. But having the Bastion out of turret mode is going to be all the more valuable. The hack doesn't quite come in this time. However, Silverio is taken out. Phone isn't anywhere near point. Sloth does have High Noon, will not find anything. Rinto finding quite a lot of kills, including the Mercy and the Bastion. That is probably going to be death rows for Botburgers here, as they don't really have anything else to deal with. The Nano to Reaper, that is coming straight at their face. Not a terrible hold. Winnable, but also throwable.
Well, first of all, on that last fight there, Phone was just on the Bastion, just positioned in a really odd spot, and just wasn't able to get a lot. Of course, getting hacked as well, wasn't able to cancel it in time. And that's just, with the hack there, DKE just with a much better tank composition was able to aggress onto Bob Burger's tanks. So I think as much as they wanted to run the Bastion there, Rhine Sigma is there's a reason you don't see that comp now. It's just not doesn't do very well.
As well as awkwardly enough, Note wasn't really doubling up his shield. He was just kind of like Sigma thing. So it's like it was really just a single shield. It would have been better off a Diva.
Yeah, for sure.
As well as probably being on the pirate ship itself. Looks like pretty standard here coming out from both teams versus the wishy-washy comps, and they're going to stick on to what they have been doing pretty good at so far. One difference being touch on the Brig. And DKE really just has to get it past that first choke point. Once they do that, it's going to be rather difficult for Botburgers to stall out any longer.
Yeah, so the only difference we're going to see between the two teams' comps is a Lucio versus the Brig. And I think, considering they're running Rhine Diva, it's probably just better to have the Lucio. You can control your tempo way better. However, at the same time, Brig kind of negates playing aggressive. So as long as touch plays near
Peach gets demexed rather early there. However, she is in a rather safe spot, aside from any pot shots from Phone. Painless does take a lot of early poke damage there. Note does drop down, but immediately jumps back up. Pichu decides to jump off. They do have time, but not a lot of time. Rinto is up on the high ground.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with jumping off the map.
Gets stunned out and killed by Wiz. That's absolutely massive. They attack Trunker, spawn advantage here, so now is the time for DKE to push up. Pichu is already back in the fight in a few seconds here. And Silver Arrow and Note are just getting bullied. Silver Arrow melts as well as Note, almost losing his mech. Touch does get taken up, a lot of healing gone, as well as Kit, that's a lot of damage gone. Sloth already has his High Noon, the Nano coming out onto Note, proving a lot of damage. Sloth doesn't find anything with his High Noon, actually has to cancel it. Nice anti coming in from Spartan, but DKE just slowly backs out. Note tosses in the bomb, kind of awkward position there, kind of got caught in the stairway, didn't really find much. Pichu getting low once again. Phone back on the Junkrat. A little bit of extra damage there. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time. Beautiful Shatter coming in, finding two, Painless and Note. Spartan gets taken out by the High Noon. Wiz is taken out by Phone, but Phone is slept and taken out by a Nano. Haishan. Sloth is really one of the only people left aside from a DMAC Note, but he will fall soon enough. And as long as they don't C9 in Shanghai fashion, this map is going to DKE. They will get something on the board. Painless does come in, stall out the point just a little bit longer. Spartan is back as well. Silver Arrow on the ball. So they do have a presence on point, but that being said, both of their healers are already dead. Phone dying immediately. Sloth back on the Doomfist. Pichu Bomb coming out. So he's trying to get them off the point. Sloth tries to do something, but Rinso as well as Wiz cleaning up the rest. DKE finally get a win on the board. Reverse sweep, maybe? Question mark. I hope not, because that'll make the next match that I'm hosting late.
Right.
But that was a long map.
In that last fight, Botburgers didn't have a single ultimate. They used them all in the fight before. They used the High Noon, which didn't get a lot. They could have really used in that last fight. So just a single Shatter onto 2, and the High Noon to catch out Spartan. Just really, it was just much better planning on the side of DKE, building up the ultimates and using them in the fight that they knew would be the last one.
Okay, so here's the funny part. Because we are going to map 5 and it is not 2-2, we do not go to Oasis yet. We go to the other control map that they didn't play.
All right, looks like we'll be seeing Nepal, but not just Nepal. This is Nepal without May, which is like the go-to on Nepal, really. So I think on Nepal Village, a Reaper will be really strong, which both teams have been running regardless. But now I think both Reapers will really be able to shine when they get to Village, as well as I think if they just play Rhine and Lucio, get to the point fast.
All right, so we do have a swap coming in. Null back in for Pichu. Have maps. Definitely some potential here for some Zarya play on Nepal, especially Village and Sanctum, the one with the giant death pit right off of the point. So I could definitely see why they're putting Null in. Waiting for the teams to confirm that they are ready, and we can hop into map 5. If DKE can take Nepal, then we go to Oasis. Oasis is played when it's up to 2-2. So from this point on, there are no more draws. We don't need.
Thank goodness. We don't need a what was it? Houston Outlaws map 7 in the best of first of 3.
First of 3. Yep.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, we don't let that happen here.
Well, if they had tied let's see.
Okay.
Well, Bot Burgers are ready. We got still waiting on DK.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about how they swapped in No for Pichu again. I think, I mean, Zarya can definitely be strong here, but I also think that Pichu might be just a little bit more flexible, or maybe they're both one tricks, who knows. But I think it's just better to have a diva player here. So we'll see if having a better Zarya in return for maybe a worse diva, if that'll pay off or not on Nepal.
We are still waiting on Bot Burgers. They said they were ready at first, and now they're not. So
well, at least they stayed truthful to the fact that they'd only take 2 more seconds.
Anyways, we're off to Nepal. Potentially match point for Bot Burgers, or the start of the reverse for DKE.
And first up,
first sweep that you can get.
The map I've been talking about the most when it comes to Nepal. You're going to be on Village, no May, which you always, I mean, you typically anyway see a May use their wall to cut off an entire area And there's only 2 ways to get to the point, and everything else is blocked off. So you can just use a Mei wall to really block off one side and force them to come in from the other. But with no Mei, there's a lot of options. Phone is going to start off on the Symmetra, which honestly isn't that surprising. Rento also on the Reaper. So both of these teams have a lot of area control in terms of that point, considering there's no Mei being played. So I think as long as Botburgers get to the point first, I think DK will have a really hard time shutting down the Symmetra.
I'm almost expecting Phone to use his teleporter and swap, but yeah, sure enough, he will.
Okay, that's fair.
Get his team out faster and swap over the Doomfist. Not shocking to see. Oh, Rinso gets caught up by Swap almost immediately, and that's terrible. DKE does get to the point first, but losing their Reaper like that's gonna drastically decrease their brawl potential as Haishan and Null get antied and just melted. Wiz gets taken out. Null kills himself, and Touch is much the last one to fall. I almost feel like the Brig might be the better pick here, as they had a lot more success with that.
Well, going into the first fight, you definitely need Lucio to get to the point first, which is typically super important. I guess it wasn't as important here because DK took control of the point, or, well, got to the point first, didn't take control of it.
Note taking a lot of early poke damage there, still not build up as Fire Strike to the face. Phone not really finding that much value on the Doomfist. They're sort of ready and waiting. He keeps backing out of his punches. TK up on the high ground, now pushing in onto the point. Haishan getting rather close to a shatter. Silver Arrow is that much closer. Will not find anything with his shatter. Whereas Haishan will find 2 Slop and Silver Arrow. Silver Arrow is taken out immediately. Wiz tosses in the high noon, won't find anything. Will get taken out by Phone. Null got incredibly low there, but he will get healed up. Kit tosses in the Nano, I believe, on Haishan. Kit will get taken out by Sloth, but Painless is also dead. Botburgers are still in control of the point, mind you. However, it looks like they are going to have to back up off of the point as Note gets taken out and Rinto's putting a lot of pressure onto the remaining few. Spartan, getting incredibly low, will be taken out, and Sloth is staggered. Rather bad right there. Zero decides, yeah, nope, and charges back into the safety of side.
Alright, so now if we look at the ultimates here, both teams are going to have a Grav. However, Phone has the as his Doomfist ult, so maybe just a little bit more damage going into Botburgers' ultimate.
Incredibly low. Phone, oh, we got the Slam, or Space Jam, I believe it's called.
Right.
As both Tanks and Rento are taken out in BKE, and that should probably be point back for Botburgers. Rather quick take there, 2 simple ultimates, all they really needed. Kit getting staggered. But
the only thing is, now DKE rather is going to be returning with a Grav combo of their own. They're going to have Grav and Death Blossom. As long as Death Blossom is placed well, you can get a lot out of this. And the tanks on the side of Botburgers are playing super close together, so you can definitely get it confirmed too.
Coming in from Sloth here, it does force DKE to just kind of, which I mean, hey, fair game. You're not in quite desperation mode yet. And Botburgers don't really have an answer to this Graviton. Sure enough, there comes the combo, and I believe, yeah, Silver Arrow tried to return with a shatter, but it didn't quite work out. Haishan is slept up on the high ground, but everyone's dead.
I'm not sure if the if Silver Arrow's shatter was really necessary or even should have been used at all, because now going to this last fight, all they're gonna have is Nano. You can maybe build the Rhino a lot faster if you do go for the Nano. But I think Botburgers just needs to go in for a dry fight.
Early High Noon coming in from Wiz, and he's protected by the rest of his team. As well as the fact that he had Nano. Phone is taken out. Getting a little bit too aggressive there. Haishan getting charged by Silver Arrow, but it doesn't quite matter because he will survive, and Silver Arrow will not.
Yeah, well, because Spartan died, didn't get to use the Nano, which is probably better for them anyways, because now they're going to be able to build both the Shatter and the Grav in this fight, as well as maybe a Beat. And on the side of DKE, of course, using the High Noon, they're going to have the Nano probably for the Rhine. Both teams will probably Nano the Rhine. And
oh, beautiful Shatter coming in from Haishan. We'll find. And he still doesn't get to use his Nano, and we are now in one fight territory. The kill feed lighting up for DK, this point is almost certainly going to be in their favor. Note is the last vestige of hope, and he's not going to be able to touch.
Yeah, after
beautiful play.
After over 2 minutes, maybe 3, I don't think we saw a single nano out on the side of Bob Burgers. Spartan was just dead all the time, or shattered or stunned.
He had it for a while, but it just couldn't actually use it, and that's kind of the crucial part about ultimates. You got to be able to use them.
So we might end up seeing Phone on the Tracer, although I wouldn't also be surprised to see him go back to Sombra. This point could be pretty good for Sombra. There's a lot of mega health packs that you can hack, and that gives you a lot of space. And of course, DKE staying with Kree Reaper as they have been the majority of this match.
No sticking on the Zarya, Phone on the Soldier. I guess it could work, but it's going to be difficult to poke down really anyone.
Yeah, there's not a lot of spots for Soldier to poke through, except for the single top high ground. One spot that you're seeing.
But I mean, it's going to still be awkward. There's not too many great targets here, unless you can get a nice little Helix rocket onto Wiz, possibly. Kit. All things considered, the fight is breaking out onto the point. Botburger's taking a lot of early damage, especially Painless taking a lot of damage from Haishan there. And Sloth falling almost immediately. That's not a good start for Botburgers. Starting to lose steam here. Silver Arrow is getting incredibly low. Will get taken. Beautiful 3-man Nancy coming in from Spartan, but it doesn't really matter because there's not enough damage remaining. Null is slept on point, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't think the Soldier is going to get a lot of value. He got a lot of damage through when DK was first pushing up. But aside from that, once they went around the pole, he really couldn't see anyone. So they're going to try and probably run the same strategy again, just keep phone up on that high ground. But now that DKE knows that he's playing up there, it'll be even harder for him to get much value.
Yep, looks like the rest of Botburgers drops down, aside from Spartan, who's up on the high ground. But DKE doesn't really need to poke. They have control of the point. Beautiful from Nancy. However, Silver Arrow dying yet again. Wiz tosses out the high noon. Doesn't really need it, but then again, they're taking out Spartan. Anti-mech note is a pretty good advantage in that fight, I would say. And Phone needs to
he needs to get off the Soldier because he ended up, that fight, instead of playing the high ground, he played low ground. At that point, he would just play a Reaper. That's like twice the amount of damage when you're playing in that spot. So also, both teams will have the Shatter, which, yeah, DK just has way more ults. And I don't think there will be a lot of room to get a good attack visor.
No, and we are coming up on only 60%, so there is for about, but they got to make something out of it. They have the nano visor. They want it. They do have some ultimates coming online. Do have attack visor coming out. However, the nano came out on the silver. Sloth taken out almost immediately. And note, demeched Phone found quite literally nothing, and he just kind of died. Like 3 people just kind of collapsed onto him. I severely hope he stops now, if anything.
Haishan got a 3-man shatter there, and
there you go.
And that just kind of sealed the deal. They also used the grab on top of the shatter just to make sure. But now the only thing is that they're gonna have, well, I guess they're gonna be basically matched in ultimates now.
Yeah, I mean they have what, 3 ults on the side of Botburgers and about 3 on the side of Bomb coming in from Node. I'm not sure if it'll find anything. The shatter isn't much on the side of Silver Arrow, and Painless and Phone falling. That's probably the map for DKE, and sure enough, unless the Sloth managed to find a 6-man high noon, which he doesn't, he was slept off point. DKE bringing it to Oasis. We are still going to be late for the next game.
DKE, well, at least they might actually be able to pull out the reverse sweep. They were mostly favored by the community to take this one. So I wouldn't be surprised, considering how much momentum they have after the last 2 maps. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take Oasis.
Yeah, they have the momentum. They've won what, the last they won the last 2 maps, I guess.
Yeah, drew the one prior to that, I believe.
No, I think
there's been too many maps I can't count.
I think the second map they tied. The one.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a win for Botburgers, then a tied, and
it's been years since Volskaya. So now they're going to be heading over to Oasis. Just have to see. I'm not sure if they're going to want to swap in Pichu again for Oasis. I think, again, the D.Va, especially on maybe City Center, you play a lot of high grounds. D.Va's usually really strong there.
Okay, we actually have a swap coming in for Bot Burgers. First time we're seeing it. Splooge is coming in for Painless. Okay. I'm actually going to be right back. It's been so long.
All right, don't worry. I'm not too shocked to see Bob Burgers swap out Painless. He wasn't doing a horrible job, but I think that if they have a little bit more confidence in Splooge, I don't see why they shouldn't be running that. They're not going to be swapping in Peachy. They're going to stick with Null, winning the last map, playing Null. That's not too surprising. And I mean, they played a lot of Zarya there with Null, but I'm not sure if you continue playing Zarya on Oasis. You can definitely play it during University. So we'll see how this works out for both teams, really, because again, Bobberg is making some swaps, DKE not so much. But I think with how much momentum DKE has, it looks a little bit better for them. We'll see if Bobbergers can recover after being down 2. DK did so earlier. So, I mean, I'm excited to see how this turns out. Everyone always, I mean, DK winless. It's always fun to root for to the bottom ranked team. So.
Okay. Let's see. We got commercial for phones, so we have a lot of and for Bot Burgers now. They're starting getting into desperation mode.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Although it looks like Painless just had to leave.
Oh,
because he's out of the lobby.
See that. Looking at Splooge's profile, yeah, similar stats. He's not quite as much time on Lucio from what I can see, whereas Painless is kind of a Lucio bot, is the meme around him. But we'll have to see how they pull it off. Commercial, I believe, came from Double Cap.
I'm not sure, but I've never seen his name before personally. So I'm excited to see what he plays and how he compares to Phone. I think Phone is doing a pretty solid job, but at the same time, they definitely need to change something. So
I believe Phone's hero pool is a lot more limited. It seems like he's good at like a select few heroes.
Let's see. I think both teams no. Okay, Boppergers is not ready yet. Of course, they're still making swaps. Probably talking to the coach.
Well, they only have so many more subs.
Yeah. At this point, we're just waiting for confirmation from their manager to make sure that everyone's ready. I'm sure they're getting a nice pep talk from him.
Some updates from the teams. I do see the teams are ready. I'm going to give you some updates from the other games. Papega Parrots throw DC 3-1 to CDC. And this game potentially, well, I mean, you're watching it, so you already know the score. Let's get into it. This is the last map, regardless of anything else.
Okay, I'm ready to see this series come to a close for sure. Oasis. Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say Oasis usually.
Oh no.
That is not what you want to see. If Haishan doesn't come back, then oh no, he's back.
He's back. Okay,
he's just messing with us.
Okay.
And to give us a scare, add some intensity.
That would have been catastrophic.
Okay.
Let's see. But okay, everyone's ready. Let's hop into it. That only took about 20 seconds off of DK's pause time. Probably hit the wrong button, I'm hoping. Hopefully not some internet issues that we will see come out further. We do have some fresh blood coming in for Bot Burgers, but DK is also on a hot streak at this point.
All right, so I think that we're going to be on City Center first. You will usually see Dive or at least a Diva played here, but because DKE is running Null rather than P2, looks like they want to just run with the Zarya. Really just playing all the heroes that they each player is comfortable on. And then on the side of Bopper, something a little bit more expected, I would say. Although I'm not sure how common a Sombra is here. But I mean, just a very standard dive. They're gonna have control of the high grounds, which is usually really important. I think DK just needs to speed top left and go up the jump pad, but they're not gonna do that.
Looks like they're going straight to point, looking to make some space here. Rinto putting some early pressure onto Silver are already getting so incredibly low.
Wow.
Immediately, they were not ready. Both tanks basically down. Sloth does try to hack out Wiz, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. There's no collapse onto him. We do have Splooge getting slept in the backline by Kit, taken out, and that was a dominant first fight for DKE. Just didn't go any way that Buttburgers wanted.
Yeah, the one thing I do like about this, though, or about DK's comp, is that they're forcing Buttburgers to sort of brawl, especially with the Reaper controlling a lot of the high ground. So I think, honestly, because the Reaper is just absolutely shutting down the tanks on the side of Buttburgers, I think they just need to swap to Reinhardt of their own.
Probably, and Sloth also isn't finding very much value. However, that's a nice anti Spartan, but not quite enough capitalization once again. Having a little bit of difficulty from Buttburgers to jump in on those. We do have a slept Ana and a hacked Zarya. Wiz finally gets taken down. It was putting a lot of pressure onto the Diva. Sombra in the backline once again actually touches hacked up. It's a good target. Kit gets dove on and finally falls. Haishan getting rather low. Sure enough, he will fall finally. We do have some ultimates on the side of DK, but if they're smart, they won't use any. Yep, and Buttburgers will finally start to get some percentage on the board as they get point.
Buttburgers just took so many angles. We saw Spartan sort of playing in the doorway, and then Silvero and Note would kind of play near the front, taking control of high ground, and Sloth and Commerce are just taking off angles. So really, they're just doing what their comp does best, and just playing a lot of angles, and really just shutting down any sort of aggression that that DKE tries to have.
Sloth does have the EMP, and he was almost detected. However, potential for... Sure enough, he finds 5 out of the 6. Haishan quite there. Kit and Wiz fall almost immediately, as well as an is going to clean up quite a bit more. Haishan is slept out and antied and will eventually die. Note does have to use the bomb there. I'm not sure if that was absolutely necessary, but then I guess they want to make sure that they were ready for the next fight when it happens.
But the one thing is that Buttburgers made a pretty crucial mistake of using 4 whole ultimates just to win that one fight, and DKE, very patient, didn't use a single one. So now we could see a grab, a high noon, really anything goes. The only thing that can stop him is a beat.
Possibly. We do have an attempted hack coming back home. Really find too much. He gets incredibly low. Nice Graviton coming in, as well as the Death Blossom, but he gets booped away by the Winston. However, both tanks are taken out. Regardless, really quite a few ultimates coming out from DK. Wiz is taken out by the Sombra, but she will get punished in the meantime. Only thing you have now is Nano Shatter, so a lot of ultimates coming out from both of these teams.
But Buttburgers, after using 4 ults in one fight, just used the rest of them in a fight that really just looked boss already. So now we have both a Shatter and a Nano online, probably just a Nano onto the Reinhardt while he shatters. And that's just a lot of damage and a pretty easy fight win if you get a big Shatter. So...
Oh, just shatters the Winston, but that might be all they need. Do have some pressure onto the point here with Splooge and Sloth, but neither of them are really going to be able to do that much damage, especially considering Splooge dies and DKE. They still have the Nano. They're coming up on the high noon. It's looking pretty good for them, depending on how they play this out. I mean, Buttburgers is coming up into stall mode. We do have the Tracer and the Sombra on point. Sloth is ready to decloak and come back in. He's not really close to his EMP. We do have a Nano high noon. There's a lot of stall possibility coming out. Silvero tries to jump the Nano Kree, but it didn't quite work, and he falls. It's really coming into stall mode now. Thankfully, with the dive, they were already fast targets. No one needs to touch the point. Okay, he actually does, thankfully. It does look like Commercial will be coming back. Silvero swaps over to the ball, stuck the shield, and actually will take out Wiz as he's spinning around, which Haishan probably wishes he didn't quite do that. Almost finds the charge onto Commercial, not quite. And Buttburgers is stalling it out. Aside from that kill onto the McCree, though, they're not really finding very many kills. And Wiz will be coming back. You know, he just respawned. He will be making his way back. Rinto putting a lot of pressure onto Spartan here. Moira, Splooge dying yet again. Spartan on 1 health. EMP comes out on both tanks, but both supports are still up. However, Nola is getting incredibly low. The beat comes out from Touch. Will keep them alive when they need it most. And Rinto does have the Death Blossom if he needs it. Do have the ball still on point, but he is getting incredibly low. And with that, DKE takes the first round.
We're only one map away from seeing a first DKE win. That map on its own felt really long.
That
Bopper's got a really
took
long
forever.
stall, and especially taking down the McCree somehow, that makes the cleanup way harder. So now,
Yeah, well, what happened there was Commercial stuck Haishan's shield, and Haishan spun around and it happened to hit Wiz. So that was just an unfortunate turn of events, but it worked in the long run.
yeah, Noel didn't even need the grab either. So
interesting. We're seeing we're seeing DKE's comp used against them here, possibly with Splooge on the Brigitte. However, this map is conducive for some Lucio boot, depending on how to play it.
Booping someone down to that pit, even though it's not death, can be just as detrimental because it takes a lot of people, especially like a Reinhardt or a Zarya, it takes them completely out of the fight with no way to get back up fast.
DKE takes up on the point almost immediately. Silver taking already down to about a quarter. The healing does come in. That's a lot of ult charge for his healers, but at the same time, that's also a lot of damage and a lot of ult percentage for... Oh, nice pin onto Haishan. However, he is bubbled and he's taken out. Wiz is taken out by Sloth, but losing the Brig and the Rhine simultaneously is not a good start. Commercial getting incredibly low as well as Sloth. Spartan, not sure why he was there, but he was, and he died for it. And DKE takes a point.
Yeah, the issue with Buffberg's comp is really not running a Lucio. As much as a Brig is a strong hero pick, not when you're trying to get to a point fast. So DKE took immediate control of the point, and that was just that. It was the end of that.
And Haishan still has his shatter, by the way. Beautiful sleep. And that, oh, he got stunned out of the shatter and he gets melted. In the meantime, by Commercial, it does have to try and stall this point out a little bit longer. But if it looks like they might just be backing up. Wiz did get booped off to the low ground, I believe. So now he's off to the side. But it looks like they're still trying to stall it out for however much they can. But it looks like Buttburgers will take the point after giving up only about 36%. They have quite a few ultimates online as well.
Right, so now we see, well, DK lost that fight super quick because they lost the Reinhardt, and you really need your Rhine on this point. So that gave so much room to Commercial. He's just able to get a lot of cleanup after that. But now we see Silver Arrow has a shadow of his own. He can hopefully hit a few as they're all stacked up on top of each other right now.
Early rally coming in for this fight. DK is just sort of waiting it out. They're not really pushing in, and granted, Botburgers isn't pushing in either. To have the right, it's on them to take advantage, and DKE has 5 ultimates coming online. Botburgers only has 4, but no will be coming up on the Graviton soon. This is their opportunity. They do have a rather early Graviton coming in. Splooge almost charged to his death, but Sloth saves him by taking out both tanks. Wiz tries to high noon, takes out 2 of his own, both tanks yet again. This might actually go in favor of DK. However, a nanoed Brig is a terrifying thing, and that might be able to stabilize the point. What is that fight? Sloth is taken out by Touch, and Haishan is back, but I think DK is going to have to wait a minute there.
Wiz committed his high noon, and it could have done a lot. Well, it really did. It got 2, but I think it was just a bit too late. I don't think that fight was winnable, and just a high noon from high ground in the next fight probably could have given them the point instead. So I'm not sure if it was worth it, although I respect the attempt for sure.
We do have DK getting Graviton rather early. A lot of ultimates coming out. Commercial seems to be finding more. I'm not sure what Rinthro was looking for Death Blossom. Whatever it was, he didn't find it. As Splooge is really the only one, and now we're getting territory. Yeah. Neither team really has ults, but the Botburgers is closer to any that they might have.
Yeah, and without a lot of time, because we're in last fight territory, only like 5% left.
They need to touch.
DK might not even be able to touch, honestly.
They need to touch. They need to touch. Okay, they do touch. They do actually manage to get onto point. However, they are getting massively pressured out by a large anti-nade. However, Wiz finds 2. Silver Arrow is nanoed. However, he is getting bullied by the rest of DKE. Not a lot of damage coming in quite yet. However, as I say that, Note finds 2 rather large picks as well. However, it looks like DKE might be able to find the point control yet again. They do have a long ways to go, but it is in their favor for the time being.
Yeah, Botburger is thinking that that fight was basically won because DKE had no time to make a good fight plan. They hard committed a high noon and a shatter and got nothing out of either of those. No, definitely made a good attempt. He got 2 in the middle of that fight, but I think just a lot of ultimate not used very well. So now the shatter for DKE. Get
Early
on.
rally coming in, and this time they're actually going to be pushing in on it. Shatter finding 3 in the backline of Utburgers, not quite sectioned up by the shield. And 3, that's basically the fight one. Haishan getting nanoed. And we'll clean up the rest as Sloth gets hard staggered. Not quite into one fight territory, but they only used, 3 ultimates in one the
Yeah,
fight. They're
but
coming up on 3 more, basically.
But at the same time, that nano was completely unnecessary. It's really hard to see these teams waste a lot of ultimates. But now both teams will have to grab this fight. Could do a lot, and both Reapers
Ooh,
had
nice
around
3-minute.
similar
Not
percent.
going to be able to push in on it. But now we are into one fight territory as well. Null does have graviton. And they are sectioned off the points as well. Silver Arrow Anti just completely destroyed by the rest. We do have a beat coming out from Touch, saving DK, and it looks like they might actually take this. They do have the man advantage here. Null is
I
still
think
on
that's
the
it. I think this is a win for DKE.
DKE take
There it
their
is.
first win.
And a reverse sweep, too.
Holy moly. Yeah, that is... Wow. That was a game. Be a little for the next game, but oh boy. What a game.
Take to play the
Thankfully,
game to
next
Haishan
game,
is
I am color
deserving.
casting, so I don't need to kill my voice.
Well, yeah, Haishan definitely deserving of the play of the game here. Just swinging at him. I mean, well, maybe not. Wiz got 3, but I think the Rhine did a lot there.
Okay, so let's who do we even interview? It's got to be a fast interview, but let's see. Who do you think? Oh, they're all leaving.
Who's left? Who's left? Quick.
Kit, maybe?
You can get Haishan in here. Yeah,
Haishan.
I agree with you.
All right. Let's see if he answers. This is gonna be a rather quick interview. We're gonna have like
Yeah.
one
Alright,
or two
he's
questions.
ready. He can
for
get him in
for
here.
each of us. Let me find him first. Hi, Sean. What? Where is he? There he is. Okay, we're in casting booth 2. All right.
You have
Hello.
to unmute him.
Yep. 1 sec. There we go.
Hello.
Congrats on your first win.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rather long match. My throat
Yes.
is not happy right now, but I'm sure your team is.
Yes, that is correct. We are very happy. Finally got a win, and now we're definitely going to be more confident in the future after that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Good
So
to hear.
your roster in general looked a little bit different compared to last week when you got to CDC and had a rather close match. Like you didn't have Elf, you didn't have Chloric Acid from what I saw. Were those people just not available, or were they not part of the plan tonight?
Elf and Clork both aren't here, actually. They're both not here. So we had to play something different, and it worked out. So
Okay. I was gonna ask your what is the team's thought process behind swapping between Null and Pichu, and when do you think is the best time to play each of them?
So we usually play Null on the King of the Hill maps. And Pichu basically only plays Diva. So if we want to play Azaria, we have to swap in Null. So, we just usually we have Null in on the King of the Hill maps, and then the times where it wasn't King of the Hill, we kept Null in. We were struggling choosing between like Dive and Deathball, and once we decided we were gonna play Deathball, then it was just okay. We're gonna keep Null in, and we're not gonna play Dive anymore because their Dive was just beating us over and over.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's definitely something that I commented on as well. Their dive was definitely stronger. So.
Yeah.
What do you think was the main reason for your dive being not quite as strong as theirs? Do you think they just had better communication, better target focus?
So I'm more or less a Rhine one trick. So my monkey isn't the greatest thing. I make a lot of mechanical mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes calling who to dive. I forget to count down, stuff like that. A lot of the time they were diving on Kit and stopping him from healing, and we just wouldn't counter dive, and we would go somewhere else. We would split up a bunch. Yeah, I just think their dive was probably more practiced, and they were more comfortable on it than we were.
All right, I think we have time for one more question before we gotta get to the next match. So I'll ask. Hopefully, we can get a quick answer. Was there any special preparation you made to prepare playing against Bot Burgers?
Not specifically. We just practiced dive a lot the past weekend, but it didn't end up working out. So
I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you. Unfortunately, we
you.
gotta get moving along.
Yeah, that was a long one.
We'll let you get back to your team and celebrate the rest of the night. Okay. So thank you all for watching. We're gonna end this fast because Alianos has to be in a different stream, and I gotta set up another thing.
Stick around for Yoink First Wait What, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Peace now.